Hi.
Yo, Abhi, how's it going?
Good, 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 pretty good. How are you?
Doing awesome.
Awesome, man.
So, a lot has changed in the last few months.
You bet. You bet. Yep.
So what are some differences?
Um, like the first thing, the first immediate thing is this like I had this like negative feeling or like negative undertone like in my mind that was always there. It's like
Hmm.
a script that was running that's stopped completely, you know? So I feel like that's the massive progress because like that negative thing would like just make me like doubt myself all the time.
Hmm.
Like even if I'm good at something, like even if I have years of experience in something, like I'll just doubt myself for some reason, right? And then yeah, it's gone. Like now I don't at
Yeah.
all. Like it's just, yeah. So first things first is that. Second thing, sleep. Sleep is incredible. Every day, like I'm like just getting like incredible sleep. Um, what else? I don't know, man. There's just so many things. Like I have like a huge list of things that that we worked on, right? A
Hmm.
lot, man. Like like my biggest thing was, the traumas that was there since my childhood and stuff, right? So
Right.
like there's a lot of things. Like I have like another big thing apart from these were like my anger issues. Like I used to
Hmm.
like get pissed off and just lash out, and now I just don't. Like dude, in the past, I don't know, like maybe I got angry once last week. It's like yeah, yeah. So yeah, that's
And
it.
and how often did you used to get angry for a comparison?
Oh, like every day, like 20 to 30 times.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. Yeah, like yeah, I'm just way more peaceful. Like, like I've showed you like the graph in my like on the phone, right? Like where like the stress levels has gone like low, right? Like back
Hmm.
in the day, stress levels were always like 60, 70, 80s, especially.
Right.
Right now it's like 30s, like, like super low, like really good, really
Yeah.
good. So,
Yeah. Yeah. You said something really interesting there about the kind of the scripts that run like the negative script. So like even if you had done something for years, you knew that you were good at it, you still doubted yourself,
oh
right?
yeah,
And I
oh yeah.
think that's something that a lot of people can relate to. Like even with me, like I've been in sales what 11, 12 years now, however long, and my most recent sales position, I was working as the head sales coach for a big, international sales agency, and I still doubted myself, right? So
Mm,
like I like my subconscious hadn't caught up to the fact that I had gotten really really good, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
until I started kind of understanding this stuff and working with other people, and then I was kind of able to overcome that myself as well. But no, it's like I think a lot of people have that, right? It's like this just constant doubt, and you kind of like learn to either live with it or push through it. But it's very rare for it to just like totally go away.
Right.
What you're talking about. So okay, so you've kind of talked about some of like the emotional differences, but like how is your life different?
Um, First of all, like like it's like I was seeing a lot of like doctors and stuff like before I
Mhm.
like met you, right? And it had been going on for a while. Like so first of all, like let me like kind of give you a little bit of background, okay? So up until I was like 31 or so, like I never really like saw a doctor because it was almost like it's almost like a taboo thing in India. Like, oh, like so and so is going to a doctor to check their mind, like maybe they're crazy or whatever. Like it was like that sort of thing, right? And when I was 31, I just couldn't take it honestly. Like, and another big thing I forgot to mention was like, my breakup with my ex, right? So I mean that kind of left me like really like really really low. So like all those like had like piled up, and then I got to this position where I just could not take it. Like I just had like zero meaning for life. Like I just did
Yeah.
not want to do anything. Like there's just apathy. I remember like there was this feeling of apathy all the time. Like all the time. Okay. I just did not like anything. Like I would like I had this like like I remember, like, anytime, my friends or, like, my mom or whatever, like, they were like say something, and my
Mhm.
replies were always like, this sarcastic, like, I want to kill myself. The music that I
Yeah.
wanted to listen to, and I was listening to, was just about suicide and this and that. Like, it was a shit, right? Like, and what happened was, since 2021, I started seeing doctors, right? Like
Mhm.
what I mean by that is, like, 2021, I started seeing like doctors who prescribe medicine. Like,
Yeah.
before that, those they were just like therapists or whatever. Like, that never
Mhm.
really worked that much. But from 2021, things started working. I felt like, at least, because I was prescribed medicines, and what the medicines were doing, like, in the first week, I still remember, it was like, really good. Like, I was like, wow, yeah. And then from the second week, I just started feeling numb. Like, my emotions started to, like, just like go away, like,
Yeah.
all of them. Like, there was no good emotions, no bad emotions. It was just numb, right? And then,
Right.
like, two pills became four, four became eight, eight became like 16, like, in like a matter of what, like, 2 years or so. And honestly, like, it's like, and it wasn't gonna slow down. Like, every time I would go to ask the doctor, like, how many years or how many months should I continue these medicines? Like, I mean, we're just increasing the dosage, and it's like,
Mhm.
I mean, it's like a long-term process. You have to, like, slowly, like, his whole thing was like, it'll take time, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, like, it was like February of, like, this year, 2023, when I was like, I was just fed up. I'm like, how many medicines am I buying? Like, I feel like a old person right now, right? And that's around March, like, when you were asking me, like,
Mhm.
hey, would you be interested in it? Initially, again, as I mentioned before, which is like, I wasn't super interested in it. I was like, he's a sales trainer. Like, I mean, what is he gonna do? What is he gonna do to help me mindset, right? So, and yeah, I was wrong. I was completely wrong. And, I'm
Right.
happy to admit, like, it's like, I would love to be wrong like this, like, other topics, where I need to improve, like, because it was amazing. Like, I literally take no pills now, like,
Yeah.
none. Like, vitamins, sure, like, that's for, my digestion and whatnot. But it's like, other than that, like, no pills for, like, sleep, none for, like, the depression, like, those pills, right? None of those. Like, it's just, I'm clean. And
Yeah.
recently, I was doing a routine checkup, like, with the doctor, right? Because I had some, like food poisoning, actually, and I went to a vacation, came back, and ate something that wasn't supposed to eat, right? And yeah, so anyways, the doctor was asking me, so, like, yeah, like, are you taking the medication? I was like, yeah, I used to take medication, like, almost like 6 months or so back, right? And then I
Mhm.
stopped. He's like, what medications were you taking? I was like, oh yeah, I was just taking, like, antidepressants, sleeping pills. And he's like, okay, and how many of those are you still continuing? I'm like, none. And he just kind of, like, looked at my test results, and then looked back at me, and he's like, how is that possible? Like, how are you not having, like, like, allergic reactions, or like some sort of, like, like, withdrawal effects? I'm like, I'm good. Like, I'm happy. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah. And he kept asking me the questions, like, like, how is
Mhm.
this even, like, because like, again, that doctor, I mean, he's been doing his job for maybe like 2 decades or more, right? And he's
Yeah.
like, never seen another person who is like gone through this. And he was asking about, like, who did this, and I
Yeah.
mentioned you and all, right? So yeah, like, that was like the biggest find, I guess. Like, um, yeah, man, like, it's super surprising. Like, if in February somebody would have told me that this would be possible in just like 4 months or so, I'd be like, no way. Like, this cannot be true. So
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Yeah, it's really humorous to me, the doctors that, prescribe this stuff, and like it's like their entire profession
Mhm.
to treat people, quote unquote, treat people with
Right,
these different therapies, these different medications, whatever. Then they see someone who actually gets fixed, and they're like, "Holy crap! Like, what did you do?"
right,
Right?
right.
Because
No,
like
it's
what they
true.
do doesn't actually fix you, right? So it just kind
No,
of like it numbs you, it like it just like zombifies you, whatever it is. But
true, true.
like it doesn't actually deal with the underlying issue, and that's exactly what I do.
Yeah,
And so, you're doing something different when the doctors are like, okay, you need to let us in on what's going on here. So,
true, true, true. Yeah. Yeah, like, it was insane, man. Like, the doctors were, like, completely surprised, like, that I'm not taking none of those, and I'm just happy. Like, I'm like a normal functioning human being. Like, honestly, bro. Like, I would tell you, like, there have been like multiple times, every week I would have like mental breakdowns. Like so many times like in the past that, I've wanted to like literally, commit, the S word, right? But it's just all those things are gone because like the reason why those things were happening, that itself is gone. It was like a
Right.
bad programming that was just installed in my brain, when I was a kid, because of some wrong people in my life. And that was it. And once you just pull the plug on that, now I don't feel that anymore. Like I can see
Right.
it, like how just a while ago you mentioned something like, it's like it takes a while for your subconscious to like like understand, okay, like things have changed now, like, and it's not, we're
Mm.
not at the same place now, right?
Right.
So that's where my brain was, like my brain was still when I was like, I don't know, 2 3 years old, it was still
Mhm.
there, and now
Right.
I'm 33. I mean, the brain just did not want to like move ahead, so yeah.
Yeah, that's really powerful because so many people go through things in life where maybe they were 2 or 3 years old, or 5 or 10 or 20, or however old they were, and a piece of them gets stuck in that time
mm,
forever,
mm,
right? In a traumatic situation. And then you get
yeah,
20 years old, 30 years old, 40, 50, 60, 70, and
yeah,
you're still stuck in that situation as though you were, 2 or 3 years old.
right,
And like your mind can't process that things have changed. Like it still believes it's in that situation. So yeah, that's really, really powerful.
right.
Um, yeah, as far as your situation in your life, I understand like you've moved now, you're in like a totally different
Oh
house,
yeah.
like your results are up. So talk
Oh
about like what's
wow.
new in your life now.
Yeah, like, so I mean, like, in the Indian like families or whatever, like, the kids kind of stay in their parents' home and whatever, like that's like a thing, right?
Hmm.
But it's like, again, my biggest issue was, with my biological father, okay? And he was very abusive, like, and again, like, just for viewers, watching this, right? Just for a little bit of context, right? He was like super abusive, growing up, like, he just was like never there, since I was a kid. Like, so like like I literally have zero memories of him being there in like any like special occasion in my life. Like other than like, him just like torturing me for like not getting good grades, or like literally like torturing me for like, embarrassing him in public for not being able to like, seem like the best kid, who knows all the best things, and like who makes him look good, right? So like he was a narcissist basically, right? And the thing is, because of which, like, a lot of these traumas kind of got ingrained inside me, and I just wanted his approval for some reason for the longest time. Okay. And like I just wanted him to like love me. I just wanted him to give me attention, which I like never got. Since I never got it, I just craved it. Okay. And it was just wrong because, like, like at one point in time, him and his family, like, like from a biological father's side, like their family, they tried to burn me and my mom alive. And we were like, when I'm like super young, right? My mom had like got married like when she was super young. Again, in India, it's like kind of common, like, or back in the day at least, it was like, still common. She got
Right.
married when she was like 17 or whatever, right? And did not like her, and they just wanted to get rid of her, and she just did not want to leave because like I was already born, and then they just wanted to like burn us, which in like what that did is basically it made my mom like, like overprotective of me. Okay. So like here's like one parent who's like super overprotective, and here's another parent who just does not give a shit and only wants to use me as like a trophy child. Like, oh, he's so good and so things. Like he
Yeah.
just wants to like do that shit, right? And I just could not like, I don't know, like live up to his expectations or whatever, right? And like the thing is, and it was kind of there inside me, and it was always like, that, oh no, I have to prove myself. I have to show him that, oh, that I am good, But I don't have to prove myself to like that kind of person who wanted to burn me alive, who wanted to burn my
Mhm.
mom alive. And so again, like, and all the torture and all the mess that we've been through, right? And I was like living in that same home. Okay, like I was like
Yeah.
fast forward to like when I was like 2021 or whatever, like when I'm like done with college, done with school, everything, right? By the way, I dropped out of college. That's another thing. But anyways, won't go too deep into that. But it's like, anyways, like I drop out of college, I'm gonna pursue music because like that's what I like really like. And what ends up happening is basically like I start making money for the first time. Once I started making money for the first time, it's like it's like a thing, like, at home they're like, oh, now that you're making money, now it's your job to take care of the family. I'm like, by this time I'm like 22 or 23. I think that's when like actually started making money. They were like, take, like, start paying for bills and this and that. I'm like, all right, cool, all right, I'll start doing that, right? And I mean, that's what's like natural in families, actually, like, to like start, like, I know, like in US or whatever, like, people just start in like 18 or whatever, right? But yeah, in India, that's like 20, 22, 22, 23. That's was the like the normal age, right? But anyways, like, once I start paying for bills, soon what happens is, like, some small bills turn to like big bills. What I mean is, like, first I was like, oh, okay, just like pay for this, the electricity bill, pay for this, pay for that. And soon enough, it started from, like, I started from paying like a few bills to I ended up like paying everything. Okay. And I'm paying for everything around the house. And it's like, fast forward a few more years, I'm paying for everything around the house, right? And I'm still being treated like shit. Okay. And I'm like still like, being treated like, oh, you're still not good enough because you like never lived up to my expectations and all that shit. Right. And all of those things were just like, just it was just like, it was just like anxiety and like frustration and all those things is just building, 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 right? And it just went to this spot where, like, like he would like literally stop talking to me because, like, once I started making money, I kind of proved him wrong, because like what happened was he wanted me to go and start working with him. Okay. And I said, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna figure out life on my own terms. I'm just gonna like, and because I started making money by my own ways, right? And like the fact that I proved him wrong, sort of like that he was wrong about the fact that, oh, I could not, like, do so and so because he thinks it's not the right thing, because it's always the approval game with him. So long story short, what ended up happening was, like, this whole thing of like non-communications, like, built, and all this time he would still have this passive aggressive thing that he demands things to like happen in the house, right? And I could have like left that house like a long time back, but I don't know, for some reason I thought like it's something inside me just thought like that I just could just change him, or like I could fix things, whatever. So when I spoke to Jed finally, like, and like he was able to like help me, like, I think in the first month, 2 months itself, I was able to start seeing things clearly. Like, hey, like, I'm just being used here. Yeah, like,
Yeah.
it's like I'm paying for everything. I'm being treated like shit, right? And this thing has been continuing. I've been like living the same day, same month, same year since like 2021 or 2022. Okay, or maybe 2023. But anyways, like, or sorry, 2012 or 2013. That's what I meant. But
Yeah.
my bad, right? And every day it was just like repeat, right? Up until like I think it was like May, when there was this big fight at home, with some petty reasons. Again, all those fights that happen at home, like especially like after I was older, like it was like super super petty reasons. He just wanted his way around the house, right? Because he just could not get his way because, like, he was not paying for anything, because that's where all his power came from.
Right.
So anyways, so 2020, like, just like what, May, yeah, May of this year, 2023. What ends up happening is, like, he's just throws a tantrum because, like, we actually go for a vacation. Me and my mom, we actually go for a short vacation. We come back, and because he does not get his things, like, how he's supposed to, like, basically, like, he literally needed like two maids around the house to help him do his shit. Like that's how bad it's got to, like, and he would like literally come home, and he would just like throw shit around, like, it's like, think of like the the rich spoiled kid. That was him, and I was the one who was spoiling him. Okay, for like the past 10 years. Okay, and he has like two maids, like literally one maid to like cook meals for him all day because he wants fresh food all day. Okay, it's like he's not gonna eat food from the refrigerator. It was like that. So he needed one maid or the cook, to cook for him, and the other maid to like clean after him. Like literally, there was a maid that was there to clean after him. It was just crazy. So I was like, you know what? I'm done with this shit. I'm out. And yeah, I pulled the plug. Like, it's like, I moved out with my mom. I'm like living in this new apartment right now. And yeah, I've been living here for the past 3 months now, and it's like like it's the best decision I've ever made. I can see things clearly now. Yeah. And honestly, it wouldn't be possible without Jet. And that's just like from the personal life kind of way, from like a financial kind of way, like from like career kind of way. What I can say is, like, I was like making, I don't know, 2 3K 4K, like very inconsistently, months, and right now I'm like making 10K 15K, it's like I'm about to be reaching like 20K like pretty soon, right? Yeah, again, like, it's like it's just like I'm just like my income potential is just increased like so much, right? And I know, like, it's like with my potential and like with everything that Jet has helped me with, I can pretty soon, like, reach the levels that I wanted to reach, just like, making a million a
Mhm.
month or whatever, like, pretty soon. That's
Yeah.
also is like seems within reach. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. So you mentioned a couple of really good points in there. Is that one, just for anyone listening, he's not using figures of speech here. When he says tortured, burned alive, or nearly burned alive, like these were real, like violent situations, like,
Yeah.
Molotov cocktails nearly burning, the
Yeah.
house down around them. And,
Yeah.
these things were actual, like, physical things that we were able to resolve. So like it was like major, but we still got rid of them just as easy as anything else. But in terms of you living in that, previous situation for so long, it's really interesting because our mind has the intention of healing our trauma, but it doesn't know how.
Yeah.
And so what it does is when you get into a traumatic situation, it will recreate that same situation and put you in the same circumstances,
Yeah.
hoping for a different outcome so
Yeah.
that it can undo that trauma, right? But it doesn't work because
Yeah.
those same circumstances are what traumatized you in the first place. So you end up stuck in this cycle where, like,
Yeah.
part of you knows you're not being treated right, but the other part of you is like, I can't leave, right? So that's why people, like, they can't leave from abusive situations. It's because your subconscious is trying to fix your trauma by staying in that situation, right? So until I break the trauma cycle,
Right.
you're stuck there, and then that's what actually fully enables you to be able to break free from that. And
Uh,
now you're in a new place, your sales results are skyrocketing, your
oh,
confidence is skyrocketing, like everything is starting to change because we made those changes on the
yeah.
inside.
Yeah.
Um, so as far as like methodology, I think probably the closest intentioned thing to what I do is like hypnotherapy, because it does go down to the subconscious, and it does try and install programs, but it doesn't work, right?
Right.
And so the reason for that is that all it does is add new programs,
Mm.
and it doesn't remove the old programs, which is what I do. Is I remove and add, add and remove whatever we need to do.
Right.
And it doesn't require any hypnosis. I don't put you
Right.
under. I don't put you in a trance. Any of that stuff. It's just
Nope.
pure just working with you.
Yeah.
And it resolves very quickly because when you know how the mind works, you just press the right buttons and it
Exactly.
and it resolves stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and and so there's a lot of people out there that maybe have tried hypnotherapy and it didn't work, or they're not hypnotizable or whatever, and none of that really matters because none of that is necessary. Like, you
Mm.
don't need to be hypnotized to install new programs, you don't need to be hypnotized to remove bad programs.
Yeah.
You just have to know how to rewrite the programs.
True. True.
So in terms of like you being kind of, my client or my patient or whatever you want to call it, like how was it kind of going through what I do compared to all of the stuff that you've tried before?
Yeah. So like I've tried the hypnotherapy, like, in the past. I mean, not from like a person, but from courses. Okay. I tried like Marisa Peer, I tried what was that other guy? Paul something, I forget. Paul McKenna, yeah. Like Paul
Mhm.
McKenna's stuff was actually good. Like, I mean, like, it used to like help me, but it was almost like taking a bath, It's like every day
Mhm.
you got to do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes multiple times a day. you know, in order to like feel good. All right. It's like, but Marissa Peer, yeah, it did not end up working. I mean, like at all. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, my problem is somewhere else. Okay, like like hypnotizing, like that was working on a different part, which is like again, it's like hypnotizing is like, I don't know if it like works on the root of the issue or not. Like, again, I haven't done hypnosis from like direct one-on-one with another person, right?
Yeah.
But from the courses that I've done, it did not end up working for me.
Yeah.
Like with you, it's like the thing is, I mean, I really don't know, still don't know like how you actually do it, right? But I just know it just works, and that's all I just need to know, like,
Yeah.
and that's all anybody needs to know. It's like just like get rid of that problem because
Right.
it's that root of the problem just kind of stuck, right? It's like a splinter that's like stuck inside your fingernail
Mhm.
or whatever, right? And you're like, oh damn, it's aching, like, you know, I would just want that thing to be out of my finger, like it's just that, right? But instead of like
Right.
a real splinter inside your finger, that's like a emotional splinter in your brain, like, you know, just
Right.
goes on and on. So yeah.
Yeah. And so what hypnotherapy does, so if we're using the splinter analogy, is like it leaves the splinter there, but it just kind of changes your perception of like, oh well, it's not as painful as you thought it was,
Mm,
right? It's still there, but you still love yourself despite, having this, splinter. And I'm like, that's insane, right? Your body wants to heal, your mind wants to heal. I just pull out the splinter and then everything resolves itself, right? You don't need to do all this like shenanigans and daily affirmations and all that stuff. You just need the problem fixed.
sure,
And that's exactly what I do. And I
sure.
think there's another layer to it because a lot of people are kind of afraid of hypnosis, right?
Mm,
Like when they
yeah,
put you under, they can say anything, they can do anything. There's no
true.
telling. They could make you pluck like a chicken, bark like a dog, whatever, right? You have no idea what they're doing. And everything that we do is on the conscious level, right?
Yeah,
So, like, everything that's going on. Like,
yeah.
it's just like a conversation and we fix stuff. And
Mm,
so it's like you don't have to worry about like what, like, you don't lose an hour of your time, right? Like, you're
hmm.
aware the whole time. It's not
Right,
like
right,
I
right.
put you under and then you wake up 3 hours later, you're like, holy
No,
cow, what happened, right?
no,
It's
no,
so
no.
that's probably a turnoff for a lot of people. And I don't
Right,
do any of that stuff.
right, right.
Um, so I don't know, man. Like, you are a lot happier. Like
Oh
you
my
sound
God.
a lot better than you have in the
Yeah,
past. You look better.
yeah.
Um, I just how do you feel now compared to who you were
Better,
before?
man. Better. Just like I just feel a lot better. Like, you know, it's like I've like it's like so hard to explain. Like, you know how terrible I used to feel every single moment. You know, like every single moment I used to like talk to myself, why continue at all? Like, why do this? What's the point of this? Like, it used to like that record used to keep playing in the brain. Like, I just can't explain, man, how difficult to like it is to like, you know, hear that thought over and over again, right? And yeah, man, none of those are there inside me anymore. Like I really have like a passion for living. You know, I really want to like do good for people and like, you know, help people, you know, with, you know, my services and stuff. And like I feel like, you know, I'm like there for them even more, like right now, you know, because back in the day it was like I was battling myself and then trying to help them, right? Like it was like too much, you know, for me to like handle, right? And like right now I can be like present, and I think like that's the reason why, like, you know, my sales has also like improved so much, right? It's because like I can understand them like way more. You know, I can like
Mm,
feel their problems. Like I have like way more empathy, you know, and it's like, you know, like I don't need to like make the sale. It's like, although like, I mean, definitely, you know, I make a commission or whatever, like, you know, from the sale, but the idea is like I'm there to actually help them. And you know what ends up happening is that they just tell me, hey, I'm gonna this is how I'll buy, sort of like, you know, like and I'm like, all right, cool. So, and if that's how you would want to buy, let's go that way.
right.
It's just that then. So yeah, yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy, like.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
and that's
mhm,
so awesome that your
right,
empathy is increasing, right?
right,
Like as we remove the pain, you would think that you would care less about other people because you're not
no,
hurting anymore, but it's
no,
it's actually the opposite. You're able to kind of take on some of their pain because you're not hurting anymore. So it's a
yeah,
different dynamic. So it's like
true,
it's very different than saying when you were on medication where it just numbed all of your emotions, you were like couldn't feel anything, but
right,
now
right,
it's
right,
like you even feel more vividly than you used to, and it's
true,
just not pain anymore.
true, true, yeah, yeah,
All
absolutely,
right, well, cool, man. I think we've been chatting for about
yeah,
half an hour now, so I guess I'll let you get on with your busy day, but I do
sure, man,
appreciate your time.
of course, bro,
This is I think a message that a lot of people need to hear. I kind of specifically target sales professionals because that's what I've been doing for so long, but
right,
like there's so many people out there that are hurting
oh
and
yeah,
they don't know that there's a solution. And I don't
sure,
know how. of all the however many billions of people on the planet, I'm
Yeah.
the one who found the solution.
Well, hey,
So
that's how it happens. That's how it
yeah,
happens, of course. It's
but
like
yeah, I got the juice. So
you do. You too. Yeah, man. Like totally, man. Like keep doing what you're doing, man. You're doing like amazing work. It's just like again, like initially, people will be hesitant because that's how
yeah,
people are. Like, they just think everything is a scam in the beginning, right?
yeah,
Until they just do the first session. Like that's all. Like
right,
I would just recommend people just do one session with Jed, and you will know for like what it is, right? I'm quite sure, like, in like a few months from now, maybe max a year from now, you're gonna be so busy that you won't have
yeah,
any time to like do any of these.
right,
Right. And yeah, man. Again, like I wish you the best, man, because I mean you deserve the best, Because one thing I would like to like specify to all the viewers who are watching up to this time, I mean you went through a whole lot of shit to figure
yeah,
this out. Like,
yeah,
wow. Like I remember you showed me a few clips of your, you know, old problems, right? I'm not gonna like. I mean, it's up to
yeah.
you, but however you want to share. But I just want to say, like, dude, like, you went through shit to like learn this, and and
That was not even 1% of how bad it was. Like not,
oh
and that
wow,
that was just like health issues that I've been through. Like in terms of the trauma I've been through,
uh-huh,
like like not to minimize what you went through, but man, I was messed up. Like I was
yeah,
seriously, I've been through some stuff, and I
right,
was
right,
looking for a solution for myself, and that's how
right,
I kind of stumbled on this. So,
right, right.
um, you know,
Yeah, man, totally, totally, dude. And it's like it just goes without saying, like that and I forget like which book I read. Maybe it's like Mastery or something, and that's like where I think the author was like saying like like truly people who are truly great at like the greats who have like solved big problems in the world, right, and who have like done big things, they've like truly suffered, and then that's how through that suffering they were able to like find an answer of like through all of those, right? And through like just like how I found answers, when I was like teaching my it's singing in my singing business, right? How I learned singing, and like how I do business, like right now how I help people with like business. It was through a whole lot of suffering. The same way, I mean, the reason why you found it is because you suffered, right? And you went through those things, right? And you could see through the patterns, like like, oh, okay, like maybe this would work, maybe that would work, right? And then you're like your brain kept processing
yeah,
these things, right? And then
mhm,
boom, like one day the answer just appeared. Like, I mean, that's what you said
yeah,
to me, right? And
yeah,
yeah, man, it wouldn't be possible if you did not go through that shit. So yeah, like, and it's really like it's like it's a big thing that you like what you've come up with. Seriously, dude. Like
yeah.
because I've been
My
like,
my loss is your gain.
it's a world's gain. I mean, like pretty soon, it's gonna be the whole world's gain. Like
Yeah,
it's it's like but it was required. Like, it's what it is. It was required, and that's what it took to help you find this. But hey, man, like I'm quite sure that this is gonna like help a lot of people around the world. Like it's gonna
yeah,
change how people look at psychiatry, how people look at like trauma healing. It will change the entire landscape, of like how people recover from like
right.
emotional wounds for sure around the world. Yeah.
I only want two things from this. I want an honorary PhD in psychology, and I want my own action figure like Sigmund Freud has. You know, the Sigmund Freud action figure.
I mean, your action figure would look like a fish, right? Because get it, codfish. So, right.
Yeah, and then just I guess kind of my last point on, you had mentioned people being skeptical. That's natural, right?
Ah,
But
ah.
you having where you're at right now compared to where you were at like 3 or 4 months ago, right? You're still skeptical. Like, how is it possible that this has even happened, even though you've already been healed, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, I wouldn't say I'm skeptical anymore. It's just I just don't know like how this
Yeah,
works yet, because it's like I just can't comprehend. I mean, like, I cannot comprehend how electricity works. I can't
right,
comprehend how like people send rockets to the moon or whatever, right? But that
right.
doesn't mean like somebody else hasn't figured it out. It's like
Yeah,
someone else smarter than you who has spent more time there, like they'll be able to figure it out. That's it. It's just you don't need to understand like, and like it's like, people like to say like, oh, this doesn't make sense. Like how is so and so many people like, working so hard? They've been working for years or decades and they're not getting results. Like, just imagine, 100 years back, just like if you go back to someone and meet someone, back in the 1900s. Okay, it's 1900s. You go there and you tell them, oh, guess what? You know how you send letters to people. Guess what? You won't have to do that no more. You'll be able to like talk to them with a device on your hand and like right there instantly, and they'll be there with you. They'll
Right.
be like, they'll want to like put you in a mental asylum. They'll think you're like crazy, right? That's how it is. Before it's like mainstream, that's how it is. Okay, it sounds like crazy. This is like, once it's there, once like everyone's doing it and getting results, and it's like, oh, okay, yeah, this is the normal now. Like, that's how it is. Okay, like, and most people, whoever is like, like on the fence or whatever, just like, are you suffering? If you're suffering, give Jed one shot, one session. That's it. Right. And after that session, if you're not doing better, don't do it. Say all the negative shit you want to,
Yeah.
but don't have preconceived fucking notions before you even fucking do it. It's just like that's all I gotta say. Like, sure, like,
Right.
you might think, because again, yeah, there's a lot of charlatans out there. There's a lot of people who are just peddling their bullshit, right? Completely agree, right? But if you're suffering, like I was, like I can tell you, like I was fucking, I just wanted to die. Like, literally every single moment, I just wanted to like kill myself. Like, I actually like look for things how I could like, what can I just like do to like, to cut my veins? How can I like hang myself from somewhere? Like, that's my brain, which is just contemplating shit like that all the time. I was suffering, and you know what? Jed was like, "Oh, hey, you want to try this?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't know, man. Fine, all right, whatever. Let's do it." Right? It was just like, I all I'd urge you to do is just that. Just be like, "All right, fuck it. Let me just put my doubts aside for 1 hour. Let me work with Jed. If you don't get results, don't do it." And I'm
Right,
100%
and then
sure you will get results.
that's the beautiful thing. You'll
Right?
know
Yeah.
whether it works basically after one
Right.
session, and then
Absolutely.
you can continue on. It's not like with therapy you have to do it for like 10 years, and then you
No.
find out it didn't work, and then you
Yeah.
wasted 10 years.
Yeah.
Right? Just take an hour, right? Like, and if it
Yeah.
doesn't work, then I'll refer you to other things that I know could possibly help you in your situation. I just want you to get healed, right? And
Sure.
so like that's the end of it, right? I just want you to be
Right.
better.
Right. Totally, man.
All right.
Totally.
Well, cool,
Totally.
Abhi. Any closing notes or good?
Yeah. Just give Jed a try. That's all. Like, that's all I have to say. Like, just stop being on the fence. If you're hurting, just stick with Jed. Like, I'm quite sure like most of the people in the world right now are hurting for one reason or the other. Right. It's like if you're
Just
watching
one
this.
lick, and you won't be able to stop.
Yeah, yeah. Seriously, yeah, yeah. It's like it's like, look, once you start working on yourself and you slowly start seeing like how much progress this sessions make, like, honestly, like, you won't be able to stop. You'll be like, how many problems can I fix? Like, you'll
Right.
discover like, why those problems are there in the first place, right? Until
Mhm.
you unplug some of the biggest, most, like, deep rooted trauma, like, that started everything. Once you plug out one of those, you'll be like, what? I was like doing all these things to myself, like,
Mhm.
why? Like, and that's how the subconscious is. So, it's just dumb. Subconscious is dumb. Like, that's what I learned from you. It is. It's
Yeah.
super dumb, right? It's dumber than Forrest Gump. Like, seriously, and yeah, it's just give Jed a shot. That's all I can like tell. Yeah. So
All right. Well, cool. And if you haven't noticed, I like to have fun. I like to laugh. So I'm not one
yeah.
of those stodgy like lab coat people. I just like, let's
Oh,
be
dude, I'm
human.
cool.
Let's
Yeah.
heal and let's
All
get
right.
better.
All
So,
right.
all right, cool. All
Cool.
right. Thank you all
All
for
right.
watching. See you, Abby.
Thank you. All right.